everybody, and welcome to the Helen Winder Show. I'm Helen Winder, and my guest today is Garth Delikan, who's the lifestyle guy. Hi Garth, how are you?
Afternoon, Helen. I'm good.
Lovely to, we were just saying, weren't we, before we came on air, it's been a few years since we last saw each other.
More years than I care to actually remember, once you reminded me.
It's scary, isn't it? Oh my Lord, we must catch up face to face. So,
it's like that.
Oh, I know.
I was just going to say, like that John Cleese sketch when he goes, "Was that my life? Have another one, please." No, sorry, he's gone.
That's the one. Well, listen, tell everybody who you are, where you come from, and what it is you do.
Oh, blimey, where do we start from? Give me a prompt. Where should we go from? The very beginning?
Go on then.
Well, I kind of work as a lifestyle expert, and what that involves, that means I kind of do talks on confidence building, communication skills, body language, eye movements, nutrition, lifestyle, well-being, things like that. So I've been mainly doing corporate work, but I've now firmly not reinvented myself, but I decided I've got a firm direction I want to go in now, and it's kind of a bold plan, but my aim over the next couple of years is to become the UK's leading lifestyle expert. So I'm kind of working on a plan now to get together a PR and marketing team and kind of head in that direction.
That sounds really exciting, because I know, obviously, having met you, that what you do is you are really good, and
Thank you.
And I think if we can get you out there as the UK's leading expert, then I know you'll make a huge difference. So, what does it mean being the lifestyle guy? What is it that you offer? How does it work?
I think the big difference between me and other kind of gurus out there, and I'm kind of doing the fingers in quotes in the air here, is the fact that a lot of people out there, unlike you and me actually, and I kind of like my kind of life experiences to you, we've actually lived life, and we were actually coming from experience. Whereas a lot of people go on training courses, get a qualification, and then go out there as an expert. Now, I've been at both ends of the spectrum of life. As a younger man, I kind of set my goals very clearly when I was 18, and I remember being in my bedroom at 18 years of age. I just read Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, actually. Somebody bought me The Education of a Bodybuilder. And for me, it was a life-changing chapter where he'd written this little paragraph about the first time he touched the barbell, he knew that was his destiny in life, and he knew he was going to use weights to become the best-built man in Germany. Then he was going to become the best-built man in Europe. He knew, he just knew unconsciously, as soon as he became the best-built man in Europe, that he would be invited over to America. So once I got there, I knew I was going to learn all the American secrets and beat them. He was going to make his first million in property. Then he was going to use that to get into films. And he was going to use that to get into politics, and lo and behold, he kind of lived the dream, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
So I remember sitting there on my 18th birthday, and it literally was in a flat in North London. I think I've still got the list somewhere. I wrote down my life goals, and it was 22, I wanted to run my own business. 25, I wanted my first Ferrari. Wanted to be married at 30, kind of so on and so forth. And I was quite lucky because, well, I say lucky, I kind of was. I worked hard, I suppose. But I got my first Ferrari when I was 22. I was married at 22. I had my own business. I was running my own business from when I was 22 onwards. And life was just very good. And because I kind of worked hard, I was always focused, and I was always energetic. Because I always put, and it's a trite thing to say, but when they say you put 150% of yourself into something, I literally do. I so love what I'm doing. I just get involved with it. And it was the same. Because in those days I used to be a freelance graphic designer, and I just used to enjoy going out there. I used to get on my motorbike and I just used to freelance for different companies, and I used to make a lot of money. I used to have a lot of fun, and at one stage I was at one of the biggest advertising agencies in London for about 15 years. I went there as a freelance graphic designer, and then with a short period of time they started to grow into one of the biggest agencies in the world. And I helped to set up and run their internal design studio, and I just stayed there. I just became hugely successful in that field. But kind of going on to my life story a little bit now, which is kind of leading into it.
Yeah.
After about 15 years there, I actually got quite bored because I kind of had everything really, because I had a lovely wife, gorgeous kids. I kind of had the cars, the motorbikes, the holidays, and I don't know, even though it was kind of fun, I was a bit bored really.
Yeah.
So I kind of decided to leave that place. I set up my own multimedia agency based in Carnaby Street. Ran it, albeit I thought quite successfully, for about 3 years. And then I found out, unfortunately, that my kind of financial director, who was also my business partner, wasn't all he was supposed to be. And unfortunately, the situation was so serious, I had to close my business down that week. If that wasn't bad enough, I rang up my then wife at the time. I'd been married 20 years at that particular moment in time, to tell her the bad news. And she actually told me there and then that she was sorry to tell me that she'd fallen out of love with me and didn't want to be married anymore. So as you can imagine, my life, as I knew, literally crashed and burned that day.
Wow.
And everything I knew, cared, loved, was just torn away from me. And I was kind of the closest I've ever been to a physical and mental breakdown, which is not a nice place to go, to be honest with you. I had clinical depression for a little while. And if it hadn't been for my mum, bless her heart, I would have had nowhere else to go and live. So I had to go and live with my mum for about 2 years because I just couldn't face the world. People would kind of look at me and I felt like crying. Anyway, that went on for about 2 years. Then I decided I needed to get my life back together again. And I've always been into physical fitness, physical training, kickboxing, weight training, etc. So I had this kind of eureka moment and decided to start teaching kickboxing. So I started teaching kickboxing commercially. Absolutely loved it. Decided to become a personal trainer. So I went to St Mary's University in Twickenham, qualified as a personal trainer and also a nutritionist. I was very, very lucky because the first client I had when I came out of college was quite a well-known psychotherapist in Kensington. And she was lovely. I mean, she absolutely loved the results she was getting with training with me because I'm a kind of no-nonsense sort of guy. If you're employing me as a personal trainer, I will almost guarantee, you know, in those days I would have just guaranteed results without a shred of a doubt because they used to pay me a lot of money to be their personal trainer. And what she said to me, look, she goes, look, darling, I love you. She goes, I fix their brains and you fix their bodies, okay? Brilliant, yeah. So before I knew it, I had this wonderful client base around Kensington, Chelsea, Mayfair, Knightsbridge, where I used to go into wealthy people's homes basically and kind of just trash them. And what you find out is when you're a PT to everybody, you're not just a trainer, you're also a confidant to everything that's good or bad in their lives. So kind of, even though I felt as though I had the experience to give them advice, I didn't feel qualified to. So in, I think it was 2000, I looked into becoming a life coach. Loved it, really enjoyed that, got my certificate in that. Enjoyed that so much I decided to go for my diploma in it, so I kind of life coached 6 of my clients. Started doing life coaching with them after that. And the more I was doing my life coaching, the more I kind of kept thinking there's got to be kind of different ways to help people change their patterns, you know, to kind of move on in life, to get rid of doubt, negativity, get a different perspective. And the words NLP kept coming at me, you know, neuro-linguistic programming. So I bought myself a book on that and absolutely loved it. I thought, well, I've got to have some of this. So I went away again for a while and qualified as an NLP practitioner. And the more I was doing the NLP and the life coaching and the personal training, I kept thinking, you know, this is brilliant, but there still seems to be something missing. So I was looking into more stuff again and then kind of decided to become a clinical hypnotherapist. So I guess that's why I call myself a lifestyle expert, because I've been at the heady heights of success. You know, I know what it means to run a business, employ lots of people, chair meetings, all that kind of stuff, crash and burn, reinvent myself and kind of move forward from there. So that's what I mean with kind of being an experiential kind of person. That's why I call myself as an expert, because all the strategies and techniques I give to people are tried and trusted. They've not only worked for me in my own life, but they've helped, well, absolutely, literally hundreds of people, to be honest with you.
Sometimes we have to go through, you know, those parts of our life, those chapters in our life to find ourselves and to find actually what it is we really want to do. And you can try bits and pieces, and if it doesn't feel right, then we, you know, move on. Don't worry about it. It's just showing you where you're going, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I've been through many kind of transitions and always think, okay, oh, this is the one, and it feels right for a little while, and then it doesn't. And I've been doing this walk now since 2000, to be honest with you, and it's felt right up to a point, but I still feel as though I've got the right vehicle, but I'm not quite on the right road. And it's only literally been this last, I guess, 3 months, probably since just before Christmas. I like doing the corporate work. And, you know, I like doing talks on confidence building. I love doing talks on body language, communication skills. And I'm never happy when I'm in front of like a huge group of people, 50 people or 200 people, which I get sometimes. And I'm kind of there. And it's not just about me. I mean, I supply loads of energy, but I love energy coming back. I love interacting with people. And I kept thinking, well, I do like the corporate work, but I would love to set up my own public events. You know, I would love to have regular public events going on where I'm kind of building my own following, maybe run 2 or 3 lifestyle retreats a year, you know, in different countries, maybe Greece,
Yeah.
Spain, Italy, that kind of stuff. Because I've done those in the past previously, and they were fabulous, and I absolutely loved them. And the more I keep thinking about it, I get so excited about it. I just think it's got to be right, because it's my kind of unconscious mind that really directed me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm aiming at the moment. So I'm getting together a budget and a plan to kind of move forward in that direction. It's not going to be easy, I don't think, but I don't think it's going to be that hard either. It's just the same game plan. I've got to apply myself, be consistent, and kind of not lose my focus, you know, and just make sure I've got the right support and team around me.
That's really crucial, isn't it? So you've got quite a busy year ahead by the sounds of it.
A busy life, I think.
It'll keep you out of mischief.
Yeah, I can do with some of that, yeah. I'm always in mischief.
So, you know, when you're working with your clients, what sort of things will you support them with? Is it just physical? Is it, you know, the whole lifestyle or sections of it? How does it, when someone engages with you, how does it work?
It's complete. It's everything, to be honest with you. And the reason I call myself the lifestyle guy or a lifestyle expert is I kind of liken the lifestyle guide to my RSE van. So if you break down on the motorway, somebody turns up in their RSE van or the AA van, and they've got every tool on board to help you get back on the road again. So the lifestyle guy is my AA van, basically, and I've got every tool in that van to help you. So depending on what I talk to people about, whether it's emotional, then we might kind of look at a bit of timeline therapy. We might look at any kind of limiting beliefs or kind of any barriers people want to smash through, any kind of goal-setting things, and they're a little bit lost and need some guidance. It could be nutritional. You know, people might want to lose weight or they might want to eat more healthily. And because I'm a qualified nutritionist, I worked as a personal trainer for 15 years, I've got all that info on board. And I don't do personal training anymore, but I've got a whole plethora of info. It's like a bottomless well in my head of kind of exercises and exercise advice. So I try and kind of address it on 3 different levels, to be honest with you, Helen. So there's the unconscious, you know, the kind of mental emotions, there's a physical side of stuff, and there's the nutritional side, and it all ties in.
It does all tie in, doesn't it? Because if our diet isn't right, it affects our well-being, it affects us emotionally. If we don't exercise, it affects everything else, including how we eat and how we digest food. It's all connected, isn't it?
Yeah, and it is. It's a vicious circle, to be honest with you, because what you usually find, if people aren't feeling that good about themselves, or they're feeling a bit low, a bit depressed, or a bit defocused, what that usually means in turn is, one, they're not feeling too good about themselves, so they don't feel motivated to go to the gym, or even, it doesn't even have to be the gym, they don't exercise. If they don't feel too good about themselves and they don't exercise, ergo, they're not going to be eating that well either, because they can't be bothered a lot of the time. So each one has a knock-on effect on the other. You know, so if you're not feeling good, you don't eat well. If you don't eat well, you don't feel good. If you don't feel good, it just one compounds the other. But everything can be fixed quite easily once you get to the root cause of the problem, and you fix it in your mind, because that is the magic key. Fix it in your mind, and everything falls into place. Exercise, nutrition.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's automatic.
Yeah, and it's actually solving the cause rather than dealing with the symptoms.
Exactly right, and you've got to get right to the nub of it. Absolutely. You know, you can't skirt around it. You've got to home straight in. It's got to be laser guided. But you know, it's got to be a two-way street. There's got to be cooperation. People have got to be willing and want to change. I can't make them change. You know, I can click my fingers and I can do stuff. I can do magic things. But unless they really want to change, I can't make them do it.
No, that's very true. So how do people generally find you? You know, do they, obviously, do you do networking, and do you have a website? Are you on Twitter? How would people get hold of you?
Yeah, I'm kind of all over social media like a rash, to be honest with you. So I've got my website you can get hold of me on, which is garthdelikan.com. I'm on Twitter. I think it's at Garth Delikan. I've got a Facebook page. I'm on LinkedIn, Pinterest.
So I suppose really just Google your name and there you'll be.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, I think like most people, if you're good at what you do, you're pretty high up on Google, so I'm not too bad with that.
Fantastic. So do you tend to work, like if you go into companies, do you work with people as a group or as individuals?
As groups usually, because
Hmm.
I usually get invited in by either the HR director or maybe the person responsible for CSR, corporate social responsibility,
Hmm.
or even maybe a training and learning person, to be honest with you. And usually it's sent, the two main things that, what I used to start off with, many, as you know, because you invited me to your company to do a talk on personal safety awareness for women.
That's right, yeah.
And yeah, and I've not done one of those for a little while actually, but I used to go into companies and do talks on personal safety, which wasn't about self-defense, because I don't believe in self-defense, because I think it brings the wrong connotations. It means you kind of become a victim, something's
Hmm.
happened out of your control. So I'm more about safety through awareness, not getting into that situation in the first place. I used to talk to people about body language and things like that, and I used to kind of show them a few what I used to affectionately call a few funky moves, which you
Hmm.
probably still remember,
I do.
which buy you 2 or 3 seconds which buy you 2 or 3 seconds to get to a place of safety. But the more I was talking about body language, the more I kept getting asked about body language and confidence and
Hmm.
whether I ran any workshops on it. And I did at the time, and I thought, well, that's crazy. I should actually put something together. So my confident life skills, as I call it, is basically, it's a mini NLP course, to be honest with you, Helen.
Hmm.
So I talk about confidence building, your unconscious mind, how to communicate with people in their different modalities, whether they're visual, auditory or kinesthetic, and how
Hmm.
to recognize those signs, eye movements and how important they are. So it's a whole life skills thing. And the other thing I also do for corporates is a workshop called Managing Workplace Stress Through Emotional, Physical and Nutritional Wellbeing. And they seem to be the two of my most popular workshops.
It's interesting,
And I
isn't
also have
it?
a day, yeah, absolutely. And I've been asked a couple of times to go in and do like a full day of coach, because I have a full day coaching program. But it's not coaching per se. I quite sneakily stick everything in there. You know, the hypnotherapy, the life coaching, the NLP, everything with me is organic and everything's interconnected.
Sort of go with the flow, and because sometimes when you walk into a room, the energy is of one certain set, isn't it? And so you have to sort of go with what the gut feeling is saying.
Yeah, and it's not a one-size-fits-all either. You know, the basic format is the same, but depending on what comes up when you're talking or you're kind of running the workshop, you might just kind of deviate from game plan slightly, you know, just to kind of make it fit that particular organisation.
So if somebody comes to you who isn't part of, a larger company, an organization, maybe they're an individual or, a solopreneur, how would you engage with them? Do they come to you? Do you go to them?
I usually do it over Skype, but I
Hmm.
can go to them, which is mainly the two ways. We usually meet up and have a coffee initially. We'll have a chat on the telephone because that's how they usually make contact, or they say hello over the internet.
Hmm.
I kind of like to chat to them for about 20 minutes, half hour beforehand, just to get a feel of what they're after and to make sure that I personally can help them, because the fit has got to be right with me and them.
Yeah.
It's always nice to kind of maybe meet up and have a coffee, just to kind of, I'm all for the internet and kind of online stuff, but I don't think you can beat that kind of, that crackle you feel sometimes between people, and
Yeah.
you've kind of clicked and there's a rapport,
Uh-huh.
and I think that's quite important because they've got to feel that off me as well. So I think
Yeah,
it's always good to
absolutely.
have a coffee and kind of make sure we're on the same agenda, and then I can help them. And part of that process is actually the bonding process, and it's all part of what I do. So we actually bond in that telephone call and in that coffee session. We know we can do some good stuff together.
Yeah.
So then we arrange either to meet again so I can go and see them, or we can do it over Skype.
It's amazing, isn't it, what we can do these days, and it just opens up the
Yeah,
field for so many people. It doesn't matter where we are, does it?
no, exactly. And the thing is, I've actually coached a couple of people in the US as well. I mean, it's crazy how Skype can be so effective for that.
I know. I get lots of admirals
It's weird.
wanting to connect with me. I'm thinking, who?
It's weird though. I mean, it's a great thing, but I'm very much a face-to-face person, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
I don't mind Skype. Like I said, once we've done the initial intros, kind of built the bond, created the bond, then I don't mind doing, a few Skype sessions. And I don't usually go for more than 6 sessions, to be honest with you, because I think if you do more than 6, it's almost like people use you as a crutch, and I don't want to be that. I want to be the catalyst that's going to shoot them off into the universe, you know,
Yes.
and kind of do some good things. I'm always there for them, don't get me wrong, I'm always there to support them, but I don't want to be there every single week, week on, week off, you know, indefinitely. You've kind of got to grow up there and move on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, the thing is, if it becomes that you are the anchor all the time, then they've not really they've not really moved forward.
No, exactly.
Mm.
But most people do know what they want, but sometimes they just get a little bit stuck. You know, even me, you know, I speak to a mentor once in a twice, you know, because even though I'm focused, I'm goal oriented, I know where I want to go. Sometimes, you know, I'm not a robot, and I don't always wake up, you know, buzzing and having laser beam shooting on my eyes and fingers. And you know, I need a little kick up the bottom sometimes, once in a while. Not very often, but you know, we're all human.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Gosh, yeah. And we have an awful lot going on in our lives at certain points, don't we?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, you know, I think everybody should at least have a quick chat with you, because I know that you're a great guy, and what you do will really make a difference to who they are and how they live.
Yeah, no, thanks for saying that, Helen. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. So, run by us again. What's your website?
The website is GarthDelikan.com. So it's Garth, Garth, Delikan is Delikan. Twitter is, I think it's at Garth Delikan.
Fantastic. And your number?
01932
Mm-hmm.
569 626.
Perfect. Well, it's been really great catching up with you, and
And you, my love, it's been nice, yes.
Oh yeah, we must chat again. Maybe we can have a chat about a particular subject area and share it with the listeners. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'll be up for that, absolutely.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Garth, and also thank you to my listeners. It's been lovely having you all here. You can catch up on the website, which is www.thehelenwindershow.com. You can listen into all the previous interviews and also see who we've got lined up coming in the future. I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye for now.